So I think it's important that I not only stand here, but my colleagues, because I think it's important for all of us to know that every social justice movement has involved people of faith. Whether it's the anti-slavery movement, the movement to gain women's the right to vote, the end child labor, the anti-war, environmental justice movement, people of faith have always been involved in the fight for justice. And so too, we stand here, united, believing that equality is not only something to be aspired for, but equality is something to be endorsed and encouraged for all people. As people of faith, we have a long memory. And so I want to remember some of those who went before us. Some speakers have mentioned the long struggle to this day. I want to acknowledge a couple of people who are not here present physically, but are certainly here in their spirit. In the early 1980s, before most religious organizations began talking about marriage equality, a young woman and her partner asked her religious congregation to endorse their marriage. They did not. And so this woman continued to speak out to her religious congregation and later to the wider religious community to endorse the freedom to marriage for all couples. This woman began speaking in not only religious community, but also in any community, in bars, in churches, in synagogues, in communities in urban and rural areas, and said, we need to have a conversation. Bonnie Tinker, who started Love Makes a Family, was speaking about marriage before most LGBT organizations even wanted to say the words. And so, Bonnie, we thank you. In the early 90s, you heard about the OCA. In the early 90s, many of us was wondering what to do, how to break and how to stop that movement. Few people wanted to move outside of their comfortable urban core to speak to people in rural areas. One such person was Marcy Westerling. Marcy and people with the Rural Organizing Project began to speak out and to speak to their neighbors. It was something, a pattern that other organizations picked up. And later on, Basic Rights of Oregon came out and began to see the necessity to talk. And so they began their conversations in faith communities, and people of faith began to come out. This is a proud moment for all of us, but it is only a beginning. I want us to remember that Stonewall was a rebellion, not a rally. I want us to remember that Stonewall was started by trans women of color. I want us to remember those who are being harassed, beaten, and killed because of who they are. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream, but we have so much work to do. Let us celebrate today, but let us wake up tomorrow to continue the work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Siatam from IWalk and Mary Lou from Apano. Hi, everybody. My name is Siatam.
Siatam Edmo. I'm Shoshone Bannock Nez Person Yakima. I work on LGBT justice with tribal communities. So we've been talking about history and talking about things that help frame this work in our communities. And for tribal communities, this is not new work. Right? This is work that we've been doing for generation upon generation. Colonization did a lot to teach our communities about homophobia and transphobia. And today, along with Basic Rights Oregon and many partners around the country, we are launching the first ever LGBT Justice Tribal Cohort. To bring tribal marriage equality and non-discrimination back to our tribal communities. And in doing that, we've been so proud to be part of the broad coalition for marriage equality along with Basic Rights Oregon. Lifting up the voices of our tribal people and people not often seen or heard in movements is critical. We should all be proud. Significant challenges remain for many LGBTQ people, particularly immigrants, particularly refugees, particularly tribal people, and all people of color. And hateful messages and hateful movements hurt all of our communities. So it's important that we stay engaged with our communities, stay engaged with our coalitions as we build our movements together. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary Lou Carrera. I'm a registered nurse, and sometimes I'm just another face in the crowd, and at other times I'm a volunteer member with the Asian Pacific American Network of Oregon. We're very excited to be here celebrating this victory and joining you all in celebration on this very historic day. At Apano, we work to support all families, that is all families, not just those that follow an outdated model of a stay-at-home mom and a dad at work. In the US, we know that 4 out of 5 households don't reflect that family model, but for many of us in our communities, policy has never reflected our experience, until today. So it's important to us, to instead take a stand that we support all families, and our vision is that we support the rights, recognition, and resources for all families to meet their needs and really thrive. And we're just really excited to be here with you all. We're looking forward to building on this progress and working with many organizations, because we know that the work is not finished and we need everyone's voices in Oregon to keep this movement going. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm still seeing more amazing partners in the crowd. We haven't mentioned Western State Center is here, Pride Foundation, MRG Foundation, of course, PFLAG, and the Portland Black chapter of PFLAG is represented here. Mayor Hale sends his regards, and if you peek over at City Hall, you'll see a rainbow flag hanging from Portland City Hall. He made sure to stop by before you all got here on his way to the City Club, where his wife Nancy is speaking today. So through sickness and in health and major public appearances, he's supporting his spouse. We're thrilled to welcome longtime supporter and leader in our community, Portland City Commissioner Nick Fish, to represent our fair city.
Thank you, Gina. There's some other leaders at the city and county level that I'd like to acknowledge. First is my friend and colleague, Amanda Fritz, Commissioner Amanda Fritz. Next is former Mayor Tom Potter, a champion for equality, and Tom is joining us today. And let's acknowledge a very brave woman, Serena Cruz Walsh, who early on stood for this movement on equality. And point of personal privilege, I'd like to say to Juan Martinez, is this the best birthday ever. So when I got up this morning and heard the news, like each of you, my heart soared, and I was so proud. But when I talked to my kids, they put it in perspective. They said, "What took so long?" We would not be here today without the leadership of two groups. It is my great honor to say publicly, thank you to all the men, women, and families who fought this good fight and who won this fight. And thanks to Basic Rights Oregon, which led us here in Oregon, but led the nation in this fight. Basic Rights Oregon. And because we won this fight, Liz and Nora, your kids will never have to worry whether there is true equality for your family in Oregon and in all 50 states. In all 50 states. Your city council and your county leaders are so proud to stand with you today in the struggle for equality. But as our senator said, our work is not done. So let us celebrate this victory today and this great victory for love and freedom and equality. And after tomorrow, let's get back together and continue this fight so we eradicate discrimination from sea to shining sea in this great country.